Welcome on in, everybody. It's your boy Gsluke here with our round 2 live stream. We've got ourselves a showdown and a prop preview of what to expect for tomorrow to go out there and smash tomorrow's slate. Overall, it's going extremely well, both from the DFS and the prop side. We ended up going about 2x on prize picks, 3x over there in Underdog for our props, and then here for DFS, guys like Brooks Koepka, guys like John Rahm up there, even guys like Spieth made a bunch of birdies. Tony Finau, who was in my player pool. Really, the only guy I can complain about is the Willie Z withdrawal, the Kevin Na withdrawal, which was annoying, but those guys were probably dead to begin with, right? If we're being honest with ourselves. And then Rory McIlroy, who he always goes out there. He shoots like even par, 1-2 over par at Augusta National, and then seemingly also always goes out there and backdoors a top 10 finish. So if he can do that this time around, I'd be okay with it, right? I'd rather have him win the thing. I have an outright bet there, but no complaints on this side. Hopefully Thursday was as kind to you as it was on this side over here. And let's make Friday one to remember. So we'll start this with a look at the golf course as we typically do. We'll take a look at some of the DFS stuff afterwards. And then towards the end, we're going to finish it up with a look at the prop angle. So we've got ourselves the golf course up here, and weather is going to be the name of the game for tomorrow. First off, course played easy today, which I think most people could have expected. I would say played a little bit easier than I would have guessed. I had it closer to like a stroke, maybe a stroke and a half over par scoring average. It played 0.34 over. So that is not typical, particularly before the cut line, for us to see something like that. Because, I mean, we had, blow up rounds down low, right? 9 over par for Sandy Lyle. We had Larry Mize. I mean, even, an Alex Noren and a Brian Harmon sort of round is really going to inflate that average. So when you're looking at the guys that were actually on prize picks, the scoring average was well under par. So that's something that I want to point out there, especially when we're going over there and looking at the showdown stuff. The top end scores reminiscent of a birdie fest, right? Not really what you'd see over here at a major championship. That is all going to change tomorrow. So if you take a look at any forecast, there's going to be thunderstorms all over the place. Now, the timing of those is a little bit subject to change. We're going to look at a few different forecasts to try and narrow down what we're going to expect. But whether they're playing tomorrow or they're finishing up on Saturday morning, which unfortunately, guys, is going to be a distinct possibility here for the second round of Showdown, you're going to be looking at dicey conditions. So weather is going to be a huge part of the equation here. Let's go ahead, catch up on chat before we dive into this headache that we've got with the weather. It's lagging bad for you. I don't know if it's just you. It might be just you. Yeah, it's looks like all the metrics on my end are working. What's going on, MJ? You're good now? Sweet. You say nah, hey, goodbye. I like that, the song there. I wish I had like a little music button over here to play that for you, especially for guys that are trunk slamming after day 2. Unfortunately, I had some Kevin Na, but like I said, those players are more than likely going to be dead anyways. So not a lot of people, they get jaded after guys withdraw. That's just the name of the game, right? Over there in MMA, it's the same thing. If there's a fight that's canceled after a lock, there's no way for you to swap people in, and you're just shit out of luck, which is actually better than the alternative. Because I don't want to go on a huge tangent here, but for MMA DFS, they did incorporate late swap, and it completely broke MMA DFS. People stopped playing it. There were a lot of glitches, so on and so forth. So they literally went back, right, to the old archaic method of a withdrawal just screwing you over, which people are happy about. Like when they made that change back to that, people were ecstatic. So it's just a part of the game. Right, is what it is. Monster Day. Let's LFG. We'll just leave it at that. I am monetized on here, so I don't want to use the F-bomb too much. We definitely do it from time to time. All right, let's talk about this weather. We'll hop into questions when we get over to the DFS side. The weather, like I said, going to play a huge impact. Over here on Weather Underground, they have it coming in right around noon. If you go over here to Windfinder, they have it coming in a little bit closer to 2-3. You go on to weather.com, they're calling for it right around noon, very similar to Weather Underground. AccuWeather actually has a possibility of them coming in closer to like 10:30, 11 a.m. So you may have seen a tweet put out by the PGA Tour. They actually moved up tee times 30 minutes. I think it's because of that AccuWeather report. I think that's maybe the cause of them moving up tee times, because they got to get at least a majority of play done tomorrow, right? They're, if they want to keep this on schedule, they don't want to have to play off of both tees or something on moving day, would be horrendous. They never do that at Augusta National, right? They want to avoid that at all costs. So they are going to try and fit in as much play as humanly possible. What I'm looking at here, where I think the edge is for tomorrow, is if the storms don't come until midday, which 2 out of the 3 main sites I'm looking at are calling for the storms to come in right around midday. Those guys starting at 7:30 a.m. might get pretty close to finishing, if not actually finish their round. The first maybe hour of tee times is going to get close to finishing their round. Maybe the second hour of tee times. So let's say from like 8:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. Maybe they have like 2-3 holes left, right? Whereas the guys in the middle of the pack probably going to have upwards of 8 to maybe 12 holes remaining, and then the guys towards, let's say, the final hour and a half of tee times, maybe 2 hours of tee times, might have a majority of their round left over, and you'd say, oh, that's not so bad, right? Wrong. Over here on Saturday, it is going to be 50 degrees. It is going to be raining the entire day. So not just for, portions of the day, like you're going to see there for tomorrow, right? If we go back to Friday, right, it's pretty solid early, right? It's not rainy. It's just cloudy, low winds, right? You can definitely play in that. Over here on Saturday, it's a downpour the entire day in 50 degrees. If you're finishing up your round that morning, good luck trying to get it anything close to par. Everyone's going to be shooting over par in those sort of conditions. So I think the edge is to try and get guys to finish their round tomorrow. And here's the caveat, right? You may say weathermen are absolute slapdicks, right? Maybe there's not actually thunderstorms tomorrow, which I would say that's a completely fair criticism, right, of this sort of strategy. Well, you still want the morning guys anyways. You're going to have the lowest winds that you'll have all day tomorrow, right? Whether there's thunderstorms or not, you can see the winds are going to kick up over here on the weather underground. You go over here, you look on Willy Weather, you can see they kick up in the afternoon as well, actually quite significantly towards the latter half. On a wind finder, you can see they kick up to around 30-mile-an-hour wind gusts, right? Whether they're on the course or not, right? Those PM golfers or the guys going off, I say PM golfers, right? There's no waves tomorrow, right? I'm just talking about the guys in the last maybe 2 hours of tee times are either going to have higher winds tomorrow afternoon, or they're going to have to finish the round Saturday morning, which is going to suck. So definitively, they are going to have harder conditions than the guys in the morning. I feel extremely confident saying that. So when we're looking at my player pool, when we're talking about the strategy just for trying to, play the game, go out there and win some money, I think that's what we should be doing. So let's take a look at the tee times, right? Let's take a look at who those early players are. So you got Cam Champ and Olafabo going off early. Maybe Cameron Champ's one to keep an eye on. Past champion Charles, we got Taylor Moore there. This group's pretty solid, right? Poston, Molinari, DeChambeau. Hint, might be playing all three. We got longer here. Okay, whatever, right? Mito, who's hurt. Ben Carr, maybe not so great there. But like Woodland Koepka, right? Koepka's in first place. Maybe keep an eye on him. He's going to be mega chalk, though. Straka, HV3, KH Lee. Like, these are all the sort of players we're looking at. So this is the first hour tee times up to Sepp Straka. These guys should finish their round tomorrow, I would say. So everyone up to this point, I would feel really good about playing tomorrow. In fact, I'm trying to play as many as I possibly can. Let's see. We got these Phil group here, right? Got Hoagie and Cebu there. The Horschel group with Fox in English. Zach Johnson with Jason Day and Sargent. Another group with Brian Harmon, Joaquin Neiman, and Hen. And we'll include this DJ group here too. So they got DJ, Connors, and Justin Rose here. This is the next hour of tee times, right? So this would be the second hour out there. These guys might finish the round. I would say there's a chance that they actually get through all 18 holes. At the very most, they're going to have like 2, maybe 3 holes left, right? And honestly, they probably finish their round. So these guys are also going to be heavy targets right there in that hour. After that, you kind of have this in-between zone where you have like the Scotty Scheffler, Homas, Rory's up here, right? These two, 10K plus options. These guys are probably going to have a little bit of golf left. It's just how much, right? It depends on when the storms come. If they come super early, they might have a lot of their round left Saturday. If they come at like 1 p.m. and that's when play is suspended, these guys might get through 10 to 12 holes, right? Which means that they would still be definitely in play for some of the large field contests. So I'm still playing guys in this range. This next hour up until right around like 11:42 here is pretty much like the cutoff for my player pool. In fact, it is up here to this 11:42 tee time. Let's see. Actually, I think it's closer to this 11 o'clock actually, where I have my player pool cut off. Anyone after that, I'm not playing, right? I'm expecting those guys to have to play a significant portion of the round either in the rain or there on Saturday morning when it's going to be right around 50 degrees. So when we go over to the player pool section, of course, we still have to consider ownership. So that's why let's go up here, find Brooks capped out, right? Brooks going off super early, right? 8:18 a.m. tee time. He's going to be your highest owned player on the slate. So you're going to have to ask yourself whether it's worth getting to that chalk, even in the good wave. So there are still ownership decisions to be made, but a lot of it is just coming down to tee time for me tomorrow. So let me go ahead, share my projections here. We'll talk about a few notable players. We'll talk about some strategy for DFS, all of your questions. So if you have any questions, feel free to go ahead, pop those down in chat right now. And then afterwards, we're going to talk about some props here for Friday's action. So let's catch up on chat before we do this. What's going on? Harvey says, yeah, buddy, attaboy. Keep stealing picks. Wait, you're saying that I steal picks? That's actually crazy. I post my picks before everyone else does, but sure. I definitely steal picks, the ones that is posting content first on YouTube and on Patreon. That's actually kind of crazy. You're wild. We'll block him. We'll make sure he can't come back. Don't worry. We got Mark down there says, is it crazy to think Koepka could shoot 500 tomorrow? He definitely could. I have to say, you're not going to be alone in playing him, though, right? There's going to be a lot of people that are getting to him, especially, I would say, in single entry sort of contests. So make sure you're differentiating elsewhere, right? You can still play pieces of chalk like him. Just know that he's going to have that ownership steam and accommodate it for other spots in your player pool or other spots in your lineup for that matter. Prize pick board is out. Cool. So we'll be able to touch on that at the end. Just a heads up, if you have prize picks plays, Mikey Anderson in NHL is not expected to play tonight, and it starts at 10. So, all right. So if we find a card where we need a DMP, that's going to be extremely helpful. So just so I remember, it's Mikey Anderson. Okay, I'm not a huge NHL guy, so I'm definitely viable to forget that, but I'm sure someone down in chat will remember. You probably have better memory than me. Why would you be crazy for that, Mark? Yeah, you wouldn't be crazy. Exactly. He could go out there and do so. I have an outright bet on him, so I hope he does. But you're definitely not going to be alone in thinking that. Strokes are out on Underdog. Okay. Can't believe Spieth fell apart. Yeah, fell apart right at -3 up there in contention. Inside joke for anyone out there that doesn't understand. Jason says Spieth will be fine. He and Finau are in the perfect wave. Yeah, dude, he was kidding. Jason, if you're talking about Nick, yeah, he was kidding around. Yeah, they're in the perfect tee time wave. They're 4 shots off the lead, right? They still shot 3 shots better than average out there, right? Gained 3 strokes to the field. They're not feeling too bad about their position. That's for sure. I know obviously you want your guys to be in the top 5, top 3 after the first round, but there are only 5 guys that can be in that position, right? And there's 86 in the field. So it's hard to get there. Brooks more owned than Chef. Let's see. Nope. I have Chef at 25.5. So I guess I misspoke there. What do I have Brooks at? 22%. So I guess compared to guys in his range, he is that mega chalk, but no. John Rahm actually have higher owned than Scheffler. I have John Rahm at 28.6%. So a few guys higher owned, but for his range, definitely the highest owned. He didn't really fall apart, just had a couple misses. Yeah, it's an inside joke. He's messing around. Will be interesting to see if bad weather players like Thomas and Larry can keep in touch. Yeah, I'm hoping that JT can. He's shown it in the past, right? Won in the PGA Championship out of the bad wave. So we'll have to see. Yeah, all good. Kyle says, you'll never overreaction to Spieth throwing 2 balls in the water. Oh, yeah, Kyle. Yeah, Kyle's the one that we're making the inside joke about. So, hey. He said first day of the Patreon, it was amazing. There you go. Even if you did overreact to the 2 water balls for Spieth. So, yeah, a few players I want to point out. First off is Scotty Scheffler. I faded him in 4-round contests. And I have to say, maybe I'm playing him to try and mush him tomorrow, right? To go out there and hope that he doesn't have an amazing day. But all signs are that he's going to go out there and nuke the course tomorrow morning. He's going to have ideal conditions. He was just burning every single edge out there. The ball striking, if we have the shots gained metrics, I'm sure he would be at least top 5 off the tee, definitely top 5 on approach play today. Yeah, it's going to go out there and likely nuke the golf course. So part of it's a mush, hoping that I can help my 4-round contest if it doesn't work out. But I fully expect him to go out there and shoot someone like 5-6 under par. And of course, with those looming conditions in the afternoon, there's a good chance that he could find himself at least in the top 3, if not leading this event after tomorrow. The other guy I'd say would be Brooks Koepka, right? Brooks is already at -7. He's also going to have those ideal conditions. So that's kind of working against him. So I will be on Scotty there. Again, partially a mush there for the week-long stuff. We got Rory McIlroy, another guy going off early. I told you guys earlier, right? He's always disappointing in round 1. So it was annoying to see, but I'm not really surprised. And typically in round 2, round 3, round 4, he's gone out there, shot 4 or 5 under par around the Masters, or at least gotten it under par, right? Shot 69, 70, a majority of his rounds around here. So I think he's got that high floor. And now he is the lowest owned of all of those guys above $10,000, or I should say, yeah, of anyone actually above 10 grand, right? We're not going to include Jordan Spieth in that conversation because there's a clear talent level gap between these top 3 than somebody like Jordan Spieth down there. I will be on Jordan. Jordan made a few dumb mistakes, right? Had the double bogey, had a water ball, had a short miss for par, kind of his usual, right? Like that's what we're used to seeing from Jordan Spieth. But the one thing that's also been consistent is he's one of the best iron players on tour. And he has been for the last 2 months. And that's why even when he's playing poorly, like what you saw there on Thursday, he shoots -3 and he's in the top 15 of the golf tournament, right? And we could say that it almost felt like he fell apart out there, right? As some would say, but still in the top 15 of the golf tournament. So just remind yourself that, right? He's in the top 15. And we're looking bad, looking down on him. So what do we expect from him when things are going well, right? So that's the upside. You guys know I'm going to play Jordan Spieth, so I don't even know why I pointed him out. Let's see. I like Colin Morikawa's upside. The ball striking was decent. The putter was a little bit cold. DJ, another player who the putter could have been a lot friendlier for, wasn't making anything over 10 feet. And typically, right, DJ is a really solid putter. I like the fact that Rose, Matt Fitzpatrick are going off early. Hatton, Joaquin Neiman, same thing. Siwoo Kim always has upside, right? +1, the ownership's low, so I think it's worth a few stabs. Tom Hoagie, same thing, was kind of disappointing, right? He's only going to be like 6% owned now. I am playing Bryson, so I kind of hinted at that before. He played way better than I thought he would. Like I thought he was going to shoot like 5 over par, 6 over par, and that may happen tomorrow, right? That's well within the cards, but the fact of the matter is, if he's even remotely close to what he was before and he's $7,200 and 1.2% owned, I'll play him. And there have been a few rounds on the Live Tour, most notably round 1 at Orlando, where he's gone out there and kept it together for all 18. Made like 6 birdies, had maybe 1 bogey out there, right? Got it to 5, 6 under par. And at that price tag, that might be the nuts performance tomorrow. So I don't know. He's 1.2% owned for a reason. So take that with a grain of salt. I'll be getting to Danny Willett. He was chalk. That was slightly disappointing. So his ownership went way down. So that makes him a great spot to jump on there. Taylor Moore, right, the winner at the Valspar. I think he's being slept on. Ryan Fox had a great round today, but still only 6, right around maybe 7% owned. Cameron Champ said I might be getting there. I'll be getting there. He's got to shoot like 3 under par to make the cut. So we know the incentive's going to be there for him. HV3, very quiet day, shot even par, another early tee time. KH Lee, another early tee time there too. So I'm not going to bore you to death, right? Most of the guys I'm playing, I'm on because they're, in the first half of tee times. But I also tried to take guys that were relatively low owned, aggressive, high birdie percentage players, and people that at least from observation today, again, we don't have the shots gained metrics yet. There will be a few sites that synthesize them at some point. It looked like a lot of these guys were hitting the ball well, right? I wasn't tracking every player, every shot, but just based on what I saw out there, a lot of these guys were the good quote unquote ball strikers. Let me go ahead, share my screen. We're going to talk through a few lineups and then start talking about some props. So let me bring up DraftKings and we'll catch up on chat as well. Throat is getting extremely dry. And I still can't believe that guy came in here and said that I was stealing picks. Like, that's crazy. I post my stuff before everyone else, and I post, like, video content on it too. So, to me, it's just wild that someone would say that. Especially because, like, I post, like, the write-up with it, right? Like, I post the write-up. And other people, I'm sure, that I'm stealing the picks from, like, aren't posting the write-up. And I'm sure I'm the one stealing picks. You love inside jokes. You got to get us a few good ones by the end here. Thomas says, you had Nah and Will in all your single entries. What a week. That's unfortunate. That seems highly unlikely. So you just got screwed there. That's go buy a lottery ticket, man. That's a low percentage sort of thing. Nick says data golf has metrics. That is true. James says, do we look at guys who putted great today to fade? You can, just we don't have the shots gained metrics, unfortunately, so it's hard to do so. If it were a PGA Tour event, I'd say for sure. Max Homa to tear it up tomorrow? I think so. Did really well today. Ended up making about 2x over there in prize picks, was 3x on Underdog. Pretty solid. Could have been better if Patrick can't play. Would have ended up 2-putting on a par 5, which not hard to do, right? That's something that happens like 90% of the time for tour players. We end up hitting for like 2-3K. So could have been an epic day, but we'll take it. Oren says, anything/anyone surprise you while watching today? Yeah, for sure. Brooks Koepka. I don't want to say I'm surprised, but I'm pleasantly happy about it, right? Because I called it and he went out there, showed it to us. Very surprised about Phil, though. Very surprised about Freddie Couples, who shot 1 under par, right? Both of those guys getting it under par out there. Was not expecting to see that. And I'd say that's about it, right? The guys at the top of the leaderboard are all the studs. So that doesn't surprise me. And yeah, hope you're doing well too there, Dustin. It's a biggest tournament of the year. So if you're watching some golf, best of luck with your slips. Luke, if you can join Gundecker's stream as a guest. Yeah, I love Gundecker. He used to do content on his channel. So tell him to hit me up. Whoever was talking shit about Spieth in the Discord needs to get banned. Oh boy. Yeah, we got to put like we have a list of rules, but it's buried. No one ever looks at it. We don't really need rules in the Discord. People know how to act, but maybe we do need to have one rule that's posted every once in a while. That's do not talk on the Golden Child's name, right? Do not talk about my boy Jordan Spieth. We're a random Monday baseball slate. Oh boy. Yeah, I don't know baseball though. So if I joined, it would just be for comedic purposes. Maybe throw in some golf knowledge. Data golf has strokes gained. They do. Okay. So that's what you were saying, Nick. Okay. I didn't know what you were saying, honestly. Where do they have that at? I'm sure I'll find it. Do they have live shots gained for this? Or are you saying for like past events? Live tournament stats? They do. Look at that. Look at that. Love it. Okay. Actually, let's do that right now. So let's look through some of the top putting leaders. So yes, because I do think that's a good strategy, right? To try and fade some of those people. Hovland, luck sacked himself into 4 shots gained putting. Not surprised. Horschel, English, Power, Day, Scott, Spieth. Spieth loves these greens. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just talking myself into playing them. I'm not going to talk myself off of Spieth. Koepka, right? Like I said, he's probably bad chalk tomorrow. He had his ceiling round today. Anyone, I don't know. You don't have to fade these guys up top, but like Brooks Koepka, right? It's good to see that. He gained a bunch on approach though, so it's not like it was all the putter, right? Hovland though gained the most, right, with the flat stick. So maybe you worry about that one a little bit. Horschel, right? That's a worrying stat profile right there. So I'm still playing Horschel there tomorrow, but I don't love it. If he had any sort of ownership, right, I would not be playing Billy Horschel, but he's next to no owned. So it's not the same thing. Jason Day, right, I'm fading. He gained most of his shots gained with the putting. Now, it wasn't all of them, right? It wasn't crazy like a Victor Hovland up here. He gained 4 strokes with the putting. But yeah, maybe Jason Day, maybe Victor Hovland. Maybe Adam Scott too, because he gained a bunch around the green, right? You can see he gained 2 strokes around the green. Maybe these are the sort of guys that you keep off your player pool. You can see Sam Bennett, right? He gained 2 strokes putting. He gained a stroke and a half around the green. Like that's unlikely to be replicated. I don't even know this guy's name. I'm just going to call him Aldrich. I'm going to call him his first name, right? He lost 5 strokes around the green. So outside of that, he was right around even par for the day. I mean, maybe he's someone to keep an eye on. I wasn't expecting that. And is he in early tee time? I'm pretty sure he is. He is. He's from South Africa. Maybe this guy's worth considering adding to the player pool because, losing nearly 6 strokes around the green's an issue, but who knows? That's unlikely to happen again. So yeah, those are the sort of things that you can consider for your player pool there too. Luckily, a lot of that backs up what I was already doing. I actually realized I didn't need to stop sharing that screen. We're heading over here to the DraftKings lineup side. Word, gotcha. You'd be real happy with Brooks winning. Yeah, me too. Definitely with my outright bet. Could GJ look any more disinterested? That's just how he always looks. It's him and Cantlay are always that same way. You recommend that your position as the restaurant expert be made into a paid position. You're going to have to prove yourself a little bit more for that. D. Hillen says, what time do you think you'll post Prize Picks props? Sometime after the stream. No idea. Have to take a look at the boards. Nick says, go look at Scotty's round ball striking. Had to have been insane. Had to have been, right? I was saying that before, that the putting was not there. Let's see. Yeah, right. He lost 3 strokes putting. That makes sense. He gained 4.8 off on approach, 1.5. I'm looking at the wrong things here. Excuse me. 4.8 on approach, and then nearly 1.5 off the tee. Yep. That's about what I thought. Honestly, I thought the off the tee was better. He hit 11 fairways, which for somebody of his length, I thought that'd be more than a stroke and a half to the field. But yeah, that's the idea there. Scotty Scheffler, insane with everything but the putting, and he killed it on the greens here last year. So yeah, completely agree. Play Aldi. So you're saying the amateur? Yeah, I haven't seen anything other than this tournament on him, but these shots gained. I mean, just to show you guys, Aldrich down here, he shot 5 over par. How many birdies did he make? 1, 2, just 3 birdies, yet he had all those shots gained on approach. Who knows? I've seen crazier things. I'll just say this. I've seen crazier things happen. Don't think he's the greatest play, but who knows? You're already bumping. Brooks went from 70.5 to 70. I don't know if I'd be bumping them in that direction, so who knows? And yeah, it'll be done after the stream. Any love for day tomorrow? Not with the shots gained here. It looks like a lot of it came with the putter. In mostly ownership. So we were looking at the DFS side about 5 minutes ago. We had the ownership up. He's going to be one of your higher end players on the slate. So I worry about that as well. So just to give you guys a few ideas of some strategy notes and building your lineups, in cash tomorrow, I really like playing a Brooks, right? Because the price tag is still way too low. And he does have one of those early tee times, but try and take all super early tee times, right? So just offhand, I know that Max Homa goes off real early. Scotty Scheffler, right, I think is like the perfect cash play for this sort of slate. I'm down here in the 7K range. Let's see. I'm trying to think of like who the early tee times were, right? Is Seamus Power one of them? I believe so. Let's see. We could use Willett. That's a good one for this. Yeah, let's use Willett and Siwoo for the sake of this lineup. Where are you at, Danny Willett? I know you're relatively cheap. There you are, $7,100. And let's take good old Siwoo Kim. Where are you at? Oh, straight. Siwoo Kim's a little expensive now. He's had a good season. So these would be the sort of plays I'd be looking for in a cash sort of build. Now, in a GPP, you'd be looking at way too high ownership right here. Because guys like Scotty Scheffler, right, 20, 25% owned. Homa's not super high owned, but he's like 10, 15%. Koepka's another 20%er. So between those 3 players, you're cornering yourself, particularly in a large field contest. So if you're in a GPP, even a single entry kind of contest, let's say you start with a Scotty, because I'm going to have a lot of lineups that start in that direction. As your second man in, you can take a Homa, but maybe you make it even more so of a pivot, right? Maybe you go down here to the 8K range. There weren't even a ton of pivots early. So I don't know. Let's keep Homa in there, right? Homa was like 10, 15% owned, but instead of taking Brooks Koepka, right, somebody that's going to be 22% owned, let's go ahead and pivot to... Let's take Joaquin Niemann. Now, Joaquin Niemann, right, it's not like he's 2% owned, right? He's not like he's going to have non-existent ownership, but I have him closer to 9, 10% as opposed to the 20, 22% number of a Brooks Koepka. So let's do that as a 4th man in. Let's take one more pivot. Let's go with you could take Siwoo in this lineup if we wanted to. But let's put Justin Rose. Justin Rose, another one of those early tee times. And with this sort of build, right, starting this way, we still have 2 of the initial core 4 out there, but we added in Niemann and Rose rather than somebody like a Brooks Koepka to make sure that we can get leverage to the field and also make sure that we have that differentiation when playing against, and in this case, probably like 5 to 10,000 other entries. So that's it from the strategy angle. We'll go over any questions that you guys have with the player pool up on the screen. And then afterwards, we're going to talk about props. And actually, it looks like we're good on questions. So let's go ahead and just hop right into props. If you have DFS questions, you can still ask, though. We'll definitely circle back on anything that you've got. So PGA is at the front. Look at that. Front of the board over there on Prize Picks. Love to see it. It was a really good day for the fairways hit props, I have to say that. But let's take a browsing of the board, right? This is my first reaction here too. Morikawa at 4.5 birdies. They do have the tee times listed, which is nice. If anything, I think the early tee times are going to have the advantage. Later tee times are going to be the guys that we're worried about. It looks like I'm trying to figure out if they're, accounting for that. And it seems like they are. Just based on first glance, a lot of the guys towards the bottom, right, PM tee time. But there are AM guys down here, right? There's still a Siwoo Kim down there. Now Thagala, right? He's at 3 birdies, but he's a PM tee time, right? Minwoo's a PM tee time, and he's at 3 birdies. So they are accounting for the wind. They are accounting for the tee times, I would say. It's going to be hard to tell how those PM tee times are affected, right? Because they could play tomorrow afternoon, just play through the downpour, or they might be playing Saturday morning on a wet and really cold golf course. So if anything, I'm probably going to be sticking to these AM guys, trying to make sure that I somewhat know the conditions that my guys are going to be playing in. And I think if anything, you'd be fading the guys in the PM. Like, even though Prize Picks seems to be slightly accounting for this effect, it does look like there are fades to be had. Like, the scoring average today was slightly over par with those conditions, particularly those PM guys that are Saturday morning. I mean, they might be shooting like 1-2 over par, right? As opposed to even par, which would mean there's going to be a lot of these overs hitting. So I don't know. Interesting. Something to think about. We'll circle back on those. Let's see. Greens regulation. They have it like very similar numbers to today. I would actually say they're a little bit higher on this board than they were for today, which makes sense because of how soft it was. Interesting. Okay. Let's look at fairways hit, see what they've got. They've got guys way higher, way higher than they had for round one, which I could have called. I told you guys I thought that the board was completely mispriced, and they accounted for that, right? Your lowest guys are at 10 now, which is tempting for fades because Sahith Theegala, for example, guys, I took his over 8.5, right? He's at 10 now. Come up a whole fairway and a half. You have guys at 11 fairways, 11.5 fairways. Yeesh. There's only 14 fairways on the golf course. Like John Rahm at 11, like there's still going to be overs that hit here, but this is, I don't know. It looks like a lot of fades to me. Looks like, especially for fairways hit, right? Especially for PM guys for the greens regulation, right? The guys that we know are going to have to play in tough conditions. They're probably going to hit a lot of unders for greens. Like even John Rahm, right? He's going off late. He's at 13. Like he only has 5 misses to work with. That's going to be tough for him to go over that. And for strokes, I'd say the one category I think that's the most fairly priced is probably strokes. And I feel like this is about as accurate as it gets. But yeah, this green regulation I think is slightly high. But these fairway props, especially for the guys at like 11.5, 11, like there's probably going to be some unders to be taken here. Not everything, because like Sanjay hits every fairway. Tom Kim hits every fairway. Colin Morikawa, for example, will hit every fairway, but Corey Connors is at 11.5. Like I've never seen, that's wild. That is a wild projection. I don't care what golf course you're on. That's going to be tough sledding to get there. Let's see where we're at down there in chat. You can't do props yet. You got to wait to steal it. This guy, I don't even know what you're saying. It's an inside joke, I guess. Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. I have to wait until they post them on their Patreon, and then I can give you guys props. That's right. Tony 4.5. You're saying for birdies? Let's take a look. He's an early tee time though, right? So yeah, they got him at 4.5. If he was at 4, I'd be betting this. I would be on Tony at 4 birdies. At 4.5, that gives me a little bit of hesitation. Like Colin Morikawa, like if he was at 4 birdies, I'd probably be all over that. I'm more willing to take somebody like Max Homa. So let's put Homa on there for now. This isn't a confirmed play yet. I still got to look at his strokes number and stuff like that. But yeah, Nick, I see what you're doing there now. I was close to rostering Sam Bennett. You pussied out. Yeah, he was like 0.37% owned. So not a lot of people got there. Where do you find your averages for each round when doing your research? A variety of different websites. There's Data Golf. I get some stuff from ESPN. I get some stuff from other databases that do round by round data that I pay for. So like Fantasy National, Rick Run Good, like there's honestly like 8 different sources that I use. So it depends on what stat, because some of them are better at keeping certain stats than others. Some of them only keep certain stats, and some of them have different filters than others, right? So like Data Golf, the reason I love their stuff is that you can filter it by the wave. It gives me a clear way to look at, how one wave played compared to another, whereas other ones give me shots gained metrics to work with. So it's a lot, not just one site. I wish there was one site. One of these days, I'm probably going to have one. Scary part about overs is if they start and play gets postponed and they come back and smash line of good weather. I don't think the weather the next day is going to be good, though. The weather the next day is going to be horrendous. So I get your thinking there, though. You're spot on. It's just the other way around, right? Your guys might be playing well going into the end of tomorrow's round, and then have that delay happen. Wake up tomorrow morning, they'll have those. Actually, sorry, not tomorrow morning. Wake up Saturday morning, have those 50-degree temperatures and winds and rain, and get screwed off the golf course. So, yeah, that's why I think going after the guys in the morning are probably the best option, just so that you can try and get as much as their round done. Corey Connors is at 9:38 a.m. I think so. Yeah, you might. I believe so. I don't think that's incorrect. Right? I don't think Underdog has this incorrect. Maybe they do. It's a 9:36. So maybe they're off by a minute. What do they have over here? What are they, 2 minutes off? No, they have it right. Oh, 9:30 a.m. tea time. That's correct. You're saying about the unders, but the lines are dumb high. Yep. Richard Mansell to win the Masters next year. You're funny. You're not too happy with the live hole score. They're lacking on the bets before the hole even starts. No, that's just how they do it, man. You're not gonna be able to bet on it during the hole, like after they tee off. I mean, they at least leave it open during the round, but yeah, that's never gonna be a thing, man. And I don't think they call it like in live like they do for MLB Live. It's still under regular PGA, so I think you're misinterpreting them, man. If I'm gonna be honest with you. Top Butter says you first got into golf betting like a year ago and commented on a Twitter post thinking golf went by trends and you had blocked me. Yeah, dude. I think I remember that, but you've been on the streams forever, so you're an OG. I think I remember the guy who tweeted me that, but yeah, trends are not the thing when it comes to golf, man. They're my pet peeve. That's for damn sure. So yeah, you definitely know that. That's for sure. You mentioned Corey Connors because he's early. Yeah, I'm not playing him because of his ownership. But yeah, you can play it. It hasn't been like that. I have no idea what you're saying. You said you were betting each shot all the way to the green. Yeah, I haven't seen that. I wish so. Maybe you're getting guys that Prize Picks was sleeping at the wheel on and didn't take off. Thoughts on JT? 4.5 birdies or better. Later tee time, it didn't cover today. Let's see. I know he's a later tee time, and you're saying he's at 4.5. I didn't catch that because that's a sharp under, and I know that's what you're insinuating, right? Because he didn't cover today. Thing is, I love JT at this course. He's a dangerous birdie maker, but yeah, you're right. Right, like this would be the type of under I'm looking at now. Just like John Rahm, right? John Rahm would fit that description too, right? But John Rahm covered today, right? I guess that's the difference between the two players here. I'm not going to bet John Rahm, but I'm probably not betting JT too. Because first off, I have investment in him elsewhere, but also he's the number one birdie maker on tour. Like if there's going to be somebody to warrant being 0.5 higher than everybody else in terms of projection, it is Justin Thomas. He has earned that right. So I'm going to keep him off there for now. But yeah, I like your thinking. Honestly, like if you're just playing it by the numbers, he's a good play to take for the under for sure. You were betting each shot. Yeah, I have no idea on that. Jack says, will one of the current top 3 win the Masters? You're saying of the guys at -7? Probably not, right? Every week we do this exercise. John Rahm, right, shot like -7 at the API. He was plus 150 to win the golf tournament, then completely blew up the next day. So I would venture to say probably not, but I'm sure the odds would say so. Any whiskey tonight? Not yet. I have a little bit of a pounding headache right now, so we're avoiding that. Let's find a few props on here. So we're going to keep Max Homa for the stream. Again, most of the props I'm taking are going to be posted on my Patreon right after the stream here. I have to keep a little bit behind the paywall, but I'm liking that Max Homa. I'm not hating this Joaquin Neiman here. Right, early tee time at 4. Now, I don't want a Jason Day at 4. He's just, I don't know. Don't love Jason Day for making birdies. He's a little too conservative for my liking. You got DJ here at 4, who's probably not the worst play. These are just, me spitballing right now. I'm not sure these are actually going to end up as plays. Let's go down. All right, any guys at 3.5 sticking out? Like, we need early tee times, right? I'm not trying to mess around with the guys teeing off late. I'm not about that. Minwoo's too late of a tee time. Corey, I'm just not touching. Trying to fade him this week. Siwoo, relatively early tee time. I mean, maybe him. Maybe take Siwoo. Billy Ho, no, remember the putting was all putting for Billy Ho, so we probably want to avoid that. Bryson at 3 is not the worst play. Sargent, now Sargent shot way over par, but Sargent also made a shit ton of birdies. And just to show you how many, because honestly, I don't know how many off the top of my head, but I know it was a lot. 1, 2, 3. I guess he only made 4. Looks like a lot more when you have all these shapes on the scorecard. Unfortunately, a lot of them were weird, bogey for him. So, yeah, Sargent, I think he's got the upside. Maybe we take his over there, right? Because he made those 3 today. But let's stick with these 4 for now. Couples and then all the scrubs down there. Like, yeah, probably no thank you. Let's add Sargent. And then what was that DMP? I know it was. Does anyone remember what that DMP was? I asked you guys before. I can scroll up and find it though. Just probably the best bet. Let's see. We go. The DMP is Mikey Anderson. Okay. I have a feeling I'm not going to be able to enter a slip though, guys, because I have limits on prize picks, so this isn't going to work great. What sport did he say? NHL. Okay, NHL. Mikey Anderson. Ooh, gotta trust him on this, I guess, because I didn't vet this myself. Whatever, it's a $50 bet. What am I? I really don't care. Oh, and your daily maximum amount is $500. Alrighty, so can't enter this yet, obviously. These are the props that I'm liking here for right now. If you were to enter this as a 6-man, it's going to tell you that it's paying 20x down here. But if this guy indeed does DNP, as our boy was telling us down there in chat, you might want to go ahead and double check that, right? Check the lineup, make sure that he's not starting. Mikey Anderson, that is, for LA. This would end up being a 5-leg flex play because the DNP would occur. And you'd go back to your normal payouts, right? So you get 10x, we're getting all 5, right? You get 2x, we're getting 4 out of 5. 0.4x, we're getting 3 out of 5, so on and so forth, which is important, right? Because if we didn't do that, you can see we'd only be getting 7.5x or 1.5x. We're getting 4 out of 5 correct. So I'd recommend that. If I had to rank these in order, it'd probably be in the order that they're in terms of the ones I like. Yeah, unfortunately, I can't enter them, so I can't even tell you if they're going to be a part of my official exposure because for all I know, they might get bumped by the time I end up going out there and betting them. Let's take a look at Underdog. I was told that there's strokes up. Let's refresh this. They weren't showing up. Ah, there they are. Good old strokes board. And let's see if there's a difference between the two sites. Yeah, Mikey Anderson? I don't know. It was 2 seconds ago and I can't remember. Long day of golf. I can remember almost every golf shot that I saw today, but not that guy's name. Again, I'll do NHL. So 70.5 for Rory. I just want to take a look at some of the studs. 69.5 for Scotty. Let's do a little line shopping. They got 69.5. What's Rory? So 70. So a little bit of value on Rory McIlroy. We'll say over here in Underdog. Let's keep that in the back of our mind. Because I don't hate him tomorrow. Not at all. Normally has a big bounce back day there on Fridays. And especially at the Masters. Let's see. Where's Rom? Did I already pass Rom? No, don't. Oh, it's right. Rom's a PMT time. So he's going to be at the bottom of this. He's at 70 strokes. Which I guess got bit off the board because you can see it's gray over there. Which I don't necessarily agree with because he's in the PM. It's not going to be as easy. But let's look at some of these AM guys. You have Tony at 70.5. What's Tony on Prize Picks? Probably the same thing. Mr. Finau. There's so many guys on the board. It's hard to find people on here sometimes. Oh, is Tony not on the board? That's probably it. No, he is 70.5. I'm just blind. There's same on both sites. Got Freddie Couples up. Okay, so 75.5. What have we got on Prize Picks? 76.5. So actually better to play him over there if you wanted to. He shot a 71 today. Now, I'll just tell you guys, that's not going to happen there tomorrow, but maybe he shoots, better than +4. I don't think that's outrageous. See, they got Reed at 73, but he's a PM guy. Let's scroll up here again. Ideally, we want as early as possible in terms of tee time, right? So let's see what we can do. Got Bryson going off early as hell, but it's Bryson. Brooks is at 71. He's probably not 70. Yeah, he's at 70 on Prize Picks. Let's at least add this to our cart, right? Where may or may not play it. Let's see. We'll figure this out. Jason Day 70.5. He's probably the same thing on Prize Picks. Which honestly, I agree with. Yep. Makes sense. Joaquin. I love Joaquin. Do they have him on the price? They do. Same price, though. Don't disagree. Well, let's look at DJ. I like the push equity here at 71 on this DJ number. He shot even par today and could not make. Actually, he shot 1 under today and couldn't make a putt for his life. Another guy going off relatively early. Scotty, right? It's tempting. It's tempting to take Scotty even at 69.5. Colin, that's a decent projection. What do they got Jordan at over here on Prize Picks? They always disrespect my boy Jordan. They aren't this time, right? He's at 70 strokes. Same thing as John Rahm, have you? That's wild. They got him at the same projection as a John Rahm. He shot -7. Tee time stacks, I tell you, changes a whole lot. And I suppose these would be my top 3. So that just for the sake of this live stream, right? Again, most of my exposure is going to be posted on my Patreon here as soon as I'm done with the live stream on here. Let's go ahead and add this. So it's going to be under on strokes for those 3. All right. I can already tell you those 3 props will probably be off the board in 20 seconds or less. So if you want to tail that, make sure to get in there real quick. So just make sure we're all on the same age here. It was Brooks, it was DJ, and it was Rory. All 3 of them are lower on Prize Picks. In fact, Brooks is an entire stroke lower over there in Prize Picks. DJ and Rory are 0.5 strokes lower. And on Prize Picks, I don't hate the plays either. I would say except for Brooks, like I wouldn't bet him at 70, right? An entire stroke lower. But that's the reason why I'm taking them and they're my first leads is because I would consider taking them on Prize Picks, but the fact that we get a better number over here makes me really want to take them. So we'll leave those there. And then in terms of the Prize Picks stuff, let's put those ones back up there, right? It was Max Homa, DJ, Joaquin, Siwoo. These were the main props we were taking over there on that side. Let's catch up on questions. If we don't have any, we're going to hop on out of here. Got some prop stuff to get done. And unfortunately, a headache that takes some Advil to get rid of. When's the next tournament you're traveling to, the U.S. Open, and need to get your restaurant recommendations? Yeah, I'm thinking U.S. Open. That's more than likely going to be the next event that I actually get to. After that, actually, I take that back. There's a chance I'm going to be at the RBC Heritage next weekend. So if it's not the RBC Heritage, because it's an elevated field, it will be at the U.S. Open. It'll be one of those 2. Alrighty, boys. That's all we've got for the stream. Hopefully, you guys feel a little bit more prepared to go out there and smash for Friday's slate. It was a pretty good start to the week, right? Prop smash today. DFS, I think we're off to a pretty solid start. Hopefully, guys like Brooksy, John Rahm, can go out there, get a little bit of separation there tomorrow. And hopefully for our showdown lineups, we can get some sort of takedown in the community. But either way, guys, appreciate the support. Best of luck out there in those contests. Go ahead, smash that like button if you haven't already on your way out of here. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already as well. That way you don't miss our live streams from rounds 3 and 4 and all of our content for the rest of the PGA Tour season. Looking forward to this. Should be a grimy, should be a little bit of a slog there on Friday, but hey, we'll get it done at some point, whether it's there through the rain tomorrow afternoon or there on Saturday morning, and to hopefully cash a few slips in the process. But like I said, guys, best of luck, and I'll catch you guys next time.